So as mentioned, as you look at the unit circle, the conversion factor we're going to use is the easiest place to look at is where pi is and 180. So any combination of those two is going to be considered 1. But as the unit circle is concerned, I know it will not give you that if you type it into a calculator. So let's start with one that we know. Pi over 4, I'm hoping that pretty soon, if not already, you view as 45 degrees because they are in the exact same spot. But what we're going to do is we are going to multiply, in this case, by 180 over pi. I'll give you a couple different ways of remembering which number goes on top. Is it 180 that goes on top or pi? Well, if we're in radians, a lot of times pi will be involved. And actually, I'm going to write it slightly different. We'll do it this way. I want the answer to end up in degrees, which is why you would put degrees on top. That's how some people look at it. Those of you in the sciences, you know, you have to cancel things off, right? And we want degrees to be left in there. What some people say is, in this case, if I want it to go to degrees, I want radians to go away. Or in other words, I'd like the pi's to cancel. Either way, whatever way is going to make sense to you. Or you could look that you're trying to make the radians cancel. So we are multiplying, again, technically, we're multiplying by what as far as the unit circle is concerned? 1. Can you do that? Yes. Does it change value? No, it changes appearance. Okay. So these do cancel. So it's 1 and 1, right? So you take 1 times 180 on top is 180. 4 times 1 on the bottom is 4. Notice the pi's are now gone. And if you actually take 180 degrees and divide it by 4, you're left with 45 degrees. And so there you can see that this one actually works really nice. That's why we choose 180 and pi as our conversion factor, because it works out normally the best. This next one, though, it says to change 8.4 to degrees. Many of you might think 8.4 is already in degrees, but we know for a fact that it's not. We know that it is radians because there is no degree symbol. So where's pi? Isn't pi supposed to be in all of these? How did it become just 8.4? Basically, pi's been multiplied in. Okay. It doesn't change what you want to do. I still want to end up with degrees, and so that's why you're going to put it on top. And pi is still going to be what we want to have cancel off. But can I cross off the 8.4 and the pi? Do they cancel here? No, this is where you are going to have the calculator help you out a little bit. We are going to have to probably round this answer. It's not going to be very nice. Okay, and so all you're going to do is take 8.4 times 180 and divide it by pi. You're actually going to just let your calculator do it. And let's say round to the hundredths. And yes, please use the pi button on the calculator. Do not use 3.14. All these calculators now have pi buttons on them. You might as well use it. And so why don't we all try that right now just to make sure that we can use the calculators properly. Again, what I say, hundredths? Yeah, does anybody feel confident in their answer? Lucas? Tabitha? Okay, I remember in geometry we never really had to worry about degrees because that's all you knew. Now it's not. You know radians now, so you better specify degrees. So is it possible to have more than 360 degrees? Yeah, basically you went around the unit circle more than just one time. All right, and so it is very possible to do that. And 8.4 radians, I'm telling you, that's getting pretty big. Radians go up in a hurry as far as degrees are concerned. Okay. So any questions on how to get from radians to degrees? Again, they're interchangeable. Well, what we're going to do then is to go the other way. We're still going to multiply by 1, but we're going to flip it around because now I want to get to radians, or in other words, I want degrees to cancel. And so if you have 225 degrees, some like to write it over 1. I better put degrees on the bottom so the degrees can cancel. That's where some of your science background for some of you is going to come in handy because you want labels to cancel off to get to your answers. And so here, degrees most definitely will cancel off. So do you think I'm just going to let you write 225 pi over 180 Unfortunately not. You do have to simplify that. I do believe 45 goes into both of those numbers. Well, I know 45 goes up. 45 goes into here, what, 5 times? Goes into there 4 times again. So it's 5 pi over 4. And if you looked at your unit circle right now, that's exactly what it would say. I chose one from there to help us out again. Okay. Any questions how I got to 5 pi over 4? Is 32 degrees, is that one of them that we memorize on the unit circle? No, but is it still technically on there? It is. Okay, so why don't we see if we can convert that to radians? Okay, so why don't you go ahead and convert that one right now on your own. All right, the question came up while people were working on that, should we leave the pi in there? And yeah, whenever possible, leave radians in terms of pi. So that would be 5 pi over 4 for this last one. So this one here, if we take a look, we've got 32 degrees over 1. So we need degrees on the bottom, so that's why 180 would go there. And so then pi goes on top because we do want to multiply again by a form of 1. Well, 32 pi over 180 is not going to be quite good enough because what comes out of both of those numbers, 32 and 180? 4 comes out of there, makes this an 8. 4 comes out of there, makes it a... Does it go any further? No, once again, degrees do cancel. So we basically got 8 pi over 45, and that's about as good as you can get. That means it basically took the top half of that circle, remember from yesterday, split it into 45 pieces that were even, and I had 8 of them. Okay, that's basically what happens as far as the fraction is concerned. So do you have any questions on converting? Well, hopefully, for those of you that struggled maybe a little bit on that quiz today, maybe this will help you convert some of them that you couldn't quite remember on the unit circle.